You're watching KSL, Utah's source for news.
He was stopping to help somebody in a disabled vehicle. It appears that Sergeant Ride was ambushed. He never got out of the car. He never had the chance to get out of the car.
A Utah husband and father of 5 shot and killed in the line of duty. Tonight, police are searching for answers, and they have a lot of ground to cover.
We're trying to get our arms around all of this. We've got 4 scenes spread across 50 miles with multiple agencies and 2 counties involved. We have probably 100 different officers out there.
We are talking about 4 crime scenes across 2 counties spanning about 50 miles.
Police face a complex investigation tonight after one Utah officer was shot and killed, a second shot and injured.
Here's what we know so far.
It started in Eagle Mountain, where Utah County Sheriff's Sergeant was shot and killed inside of his patrol car. The suspect was spotted by other officers in SANTAQUIN, where he opened fire yet again, hitting a second deputy. The suspect then headed south on I-15. Near NEPHI, he crashed. More shots were fired and the suspect stole a car. Further south, during a firefight with Juab County deputies, the suspect was shot and critically injured.
We have live team coverage of this difficult day for law enforcement. Let's start with Sam Penrod at Utah Valley Regional Medical Center, where, Sam, we now know the name of the second deputy shot today. Another Utah family affected.
Yes, Deanie, we've just confirmed the other deputy is Deputy Greg Sherwood. He is a 13-year law enforcement officer. He has been with Utah County Sheriff's Office for the past couple of years as a canine officer. He is now out of surgery, and hospital officials are telling us that he is in critical condition. He was in SANTAQUIN. He tried to stop the suspect, and he too was shot. Tonight, his family and friends are praying for him, as well as the family of Sergeant Corey Ride.
Today we had an evil run through Utah County, a horrific set of events.
It's one of the most difficult days ever for Utah County Sheriff Jim Tracy, who had to deliver the tragic news one of his deputies had been killed in the line of duty. As Sergeant Corey Ride stopped to check on a car parked on the side of the highway near Eagle Mountain, he was intentionally gunned down. The sheriff says he never had a chance.
It appears that Sergeant Ride was ambushed at that time, and he was shot in the vehicle, and he did not survive his wounds.
It was a few minutes before it was discovered Sergeant Ride had been shot.
It's my personal belief that that was the case. He may have very well parked to the side of the road hoping that some officer might stop behind him. We really don't have any idea what the motive is here.
Just before 3 at the south end of Utah County, Deputy Greg Sherwood spotted the suspect's car and attempted to stop it on SANTAQUIN's Main Street. Once again, shots were fired.
He clearly understood that this was a suspect, and the suspect started to run. He called in that it was a high-speed chase ensuing, and then it was just within a matter of seconds, he was shot.
The deputy was shot in the head and also was unable to return fire. The suspect then headed south on I-15 and carjacked victims at this NEPHI interchange. He started heading south on the freeway. Just 6 miles later, the suspect lost control of the stolen vehicle and wrecked. He was shot by Juab deputies and taken into custody before being transported to a hospital. And earlier this evening, the sheriff told us that the prognosis for Deputy Sherwood is good, that he is expected to survive, but a lot of patrol cars here at the hospital as deputies go to support his family. A lot of concern for him tonight, and certainly it's just a very tough and tragic night for so many here in Utah County.
All right, Sam Penrod live in Utah County tonight. Sam, thank you.
Sergeant Corey Ride was starting his 20th year of service with Utah County, the Sheriff's Office. He's the husband and father of 5 who won't be returning from work tonight. News specialist Jed Bull spoke to family members who tell us his loss will leave a great hole in their community. Jed?
Yeah, Deanie, I talked with a cousin of Sergeant Corey Ride who tells me that he was raised in American Fork, but was raising his family on a farm area west of Spanish Fork where their grandfather had farmed. Now he expects that there will be a big outpouring of love from the extended family and also the law enforcement family.
He was a good, likable guy. He loved to go hunting.
About a decade ago, we caught up with Sergeant Corey Ride, whose canine Dex was recovering from an injury. The police dog was hurt as the partners tried to sniff out a suspect.
They was in an attic of a house after somebody. They was up in there and the dog fell through and broke its legs. and it was over here in a dog pen for several months.
The sergeant's cousin, Blaine Ride, remembers how much he loved that dog, almost as much as he loved spending time with his family, camping, or hunting with his father.
It's going to be tough on the family.
A teacher in his profession.
Somebody like Corey that's put a lot of time in it. He's influenced a lot of lives.
And his faith, the LDS Church.
He's very concerned about the youth and the people around here.
Always helping out, his cousin says, just as he was this afternoon when he pulled over to check on a car on the side of the road.
Very proud of him. He's been a good neighbor.
And a good deputy and sergeant for his community, serving the last 3 years as an administrative sergeant.
He was a good man. He was a very helpful person, and that's what he was doing. He was helping people when he stopped.
Tonight, the flags here at the Utah County Sheriff's Office are flying at half staff. Sergeant Corey Ride leaves behind a wife and 5 children. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jed, for the story. Mike?
Well, the investigation into these shootings may have moved into a third county tonight. Residents of a Draper neighborhood have a lot of questions after police spent hours searching a home there this evening. News specialist Devin Dolan continues our team coverage tonight. Devin, what did you find out there?
Mike, I just spoke with a couple of people who went inside the home. They say they're friends with the homeowner. They got concerned. They came over to check on him. They couldn't provide me with a lot of information, and police are also staying pretty tight-lipped. But I can tell you that police were here at this home on Pioneer Road in Draper, and they were searching for a few hours. Neighbors say they arrived around 3 this afternoon. They said they had a search warrant for the home. One neighbor tells me an officer told her they received a tip related to the shooting that killed Sergeant Corey Ride and injured another officer, and that's what led them here. Police didn't tell her who, if anyone, they were looking for or what they were searching for, but she says her neighbor, who has lived in the home for more than 20 years, may have been renting out a room. Hear her reaction when she saw police outside her home.
It is scary, and actually I asked the officers out here today earlier, should this be something that we should be afraid of? And he goes, well, actually, you are in a very safe place because we're right here.
And officers just left this home about a half an hour ago. They haven't released a whole lot of information, but we'll, of course, continue to keep you updated as we learn more. Mike?
Yeah, senseless crime, it just leaves you shaking your head. So, Devin, thank you. Investigators still trying to get more details right now about what happened, and they want to hear from anyone who witnessed anything in Utah or Juab counties today.
If you did, call the number on your screen there, 801-887-3800. Of course, stay with KSL and KSL.com. We will continue to follow this story as investigators search for a motive and try to put the pieces together, and as we learn more about the officers involved in the shooting. Any new details about the suspect, we will put them on our website overnight.
Well, also this evening, police are investigating the death of a retired Salt Lake City police officer. Kevin Meek was found dead inside of his home in Sandy on Wednesday. Police say that he had been shot, and they have ruled out suicide at this point, which means they are investigating his death as a homicide. Meek was with the Salt Lake City Police Department from 1974 until he retired in 1988.
Boy, Kevin, before all these terrible news tonight, the weather had been our big story of the day.
That's right. Storm came through this morning, caused snow over the overnight hours, snarled up the commute, and now that storm is in southern Utah. This is Brian Head. Just moments ago, heavy snow coming down. Night skiers up at the resort. Yeah, it's piling up now. In fact, up along the I-15 corridor, heavy snow in Fillmore, heavy snow in Richfield. And this storm, as it continues to sag south, will deliver overnight and then exit. But a second piece will come into southern Utah tomorrow, kind of keeping things going. It's 35 degrees in Salt Lake City, 32 degrees in Provo, and 46 in St. George. Here's the plan tonight. Mostly cloudy skies along the Wasatch Front. Temperatures in the 20s will stay there for tomorrow morning, and then partly cloudy conditions on the afternoon and temperatures in the 30s. Coming up, we'll take a look at the snow totals and figure out if the inversion will return or if it's gone for a little while. I'll have all the details in the full forecast.
Coming up next,
I got ripped off.
They cash in on your desperation. The quotes start low, but soon you're between a lock and a hard place. Debbie Dejanovic shows you how to avoid the latest locksmith scams. KSL investigates, coming up next.
Locked out? You call a locksmith.
Sure, but how would you like to wind up paying double, maybe even triple the quoted price? Probably wouldn't like that. KSL investigator reporter Debbie Dejanovic got locked out to expose what exactly is going on here. And Debbie, you spent quite a bit of time on this one.
I did, Mike. My investigation began last fall when I got tipped off by a customer who desperately dialed a locksmith for help. To show you how frequently the price goes up, my producers and I set up multiple cameras and got locked out over and over.
I put my keys in my purse, zipped it.
Lindsay Miles got locked out of her car.
I got ripped off.
By phone, she was quoted about $40.
Subtotal of $142 and then a total of $151.
Then there's Lyle Ball's lockout fiasco.
And I recognized immediately he was trying to scam me.
The quote by phone, around $60, but when the locksmith arrived, the price jumped to $150, so Ball refused service.
He's yelling out the window. He's like, "Come on, you can't do this. This isn't fair, da da da."
Ball had searched the internet for the trusted locksmith he'd used before. Alpine Lock and Safe. It's a family-owned shop in American Fork.
I get the complaint when I didn't do the work at all.
Owner Ludine Peterson says Ball was tricked by a growing scheme. To see how, Peterson and I searched the web for Utah locksmiths. She says while internet listings may look local, many addresses are faked.
There's no locksmith called One Locksmith in Alpine.
No.
So I drove to several listings to see for myself.
My first stop is an address listing for a locksmith on Redwood Road, but it's a restaurant. At this location in West Jordan, there should be a locksmith, but it's a flower shop. Oh, there's the address, and it's a convenience store.
Another stop turned out to be a luxury hotel. And when Peterson scoped out other addresses, she said one was a police department, another an abandoned building next door to her shop. Back inside, I called one of the listings, and it seems they'll claim to be any locksmith.
Yes, is this Alpine Lock and Safe in American Fork? Does he work for you?
No.
Okay.
He said they only provide mobile service.
I have a physical location. You're here.
So let's see what happens when KSL calls for a locksmith.
I'm just locked out of my car.
I locked my keys in my car?
I've locked my keys in my car.
Our first producer calls from...
You guys are local, right?
Salt Lake City. The call taker quotes a $15 service fee, plus...
$35 and up. Depends on the security level of the vehicle.
You're the locksmith?
And the price went up all right.
Is it a harder car or something to open, or...?
Yeah.
Done in under a minute. The final bill, $110. The next day, we parked the same SUV and hear the same pitch.
Vehicle lockout service, it's $35 and up.
The locksmith arrives.
He's a locksmith.
Checks out the vehicle. And opens it in about a minute.
Wow, that's quick.
Good, huh?
The price was even higher.
117 plus tax.
117.
Now it's my turn, and it seems they still say yes to any name I throw out.
Is this Alpine Lock and Safe?
Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
The quote, a $15 service fee plus the unlock fee of $35 and up.
How far up is up?
Well, we don't have like a range, how far up or middle or lower.
The technician arrives.
Are you the locksmith?
Yes.
Where's your sign?
And he's not from Alpine Lock and Safe. The name on the receipt is 24/7 Locksmith Services.
$97?
Yes.
How come so much?
Time to get more information.
I work for KSL TV. My name's Debbie Dujanovic, and I'm doing a story on why the price seems to be so much higher than the quoted price on the phone. People are paying a lot of money for lockouts.
I understand, but I don't want to be recorded, ma'am.
He tells me if I had a Honda Civic, the price would be $35. So days later, we park a Honda Civic.
You're the locksmith, right?
And another KSL producer called the same company. It's not $35, it's $70.
That was easy.
I wanted answers from the company itself, so back to the phone.
Is there somebody there I could talk to who's a manager or an owner? Hello? All right, so I got disconnected. Tomorrow night at 10, see what happens when I call back and when I took my investigation to law enforcement.
Wow, that's pretty maddening. So what is the going rate if you actually get the established locksmith service?
I worked with several locksmith companies that have been established here in Utah for several years. They tell me the going rate is between $45 and $75 and get a set price when you call. Now, I've compiled a list of Utah locksmiths I worked with for this report and those approved by the Better Business Bureau as well, plus information on how to file a complaint with investigators. It's all at KSL.com. None of this $35 and up.
And we don't have a range.
No.
Get a sub price.
The sky's the limit, it seems, with them. So, all right, great report, Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's head over to Kevin right now. Take a look at that forecast. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, guys, the snow up in our mountains, fantastic. It's been about 2 weeks since we've had any significant snow to speak of. And up at Alta, yeah, you can see the skiers going through the trees, enjoying the powder. It's one of many shots today that's come into the Weather Center, not only from the resorts, but just from the mountains of Utah. Lots of folks getting out to try to enjoy this fresh snow, and we love it. Here's a look at these totals. Alta, 15 inches. Snowbird, 14 inches. Powder Mountain, a foot. Solitude, 10. Richfield, up to 10 inches. Central Utah is getting shellacked tonight. Summit Park picked up 8, and Fillmore up to 5 inches. And it's still snowing across parts of central and southern Utah. With all of the new snow, it's heavy, it's wet, it's dense, and when you add that on top of a weak layer, yes, the avalanche danger, it's on its way up. Please go check out the Utah Avalanche Center. You can get through it through KSL.com, but they update their conditions. They go and they look at different zones and they identify where the weak layers are, and they issue the watches and warnings. So please be careful, stay in bounds. You can enjoy it and you can do it safely. We thank the Avalanche Center for all that they do. Let's go and show you what's going on right now. The front came through northern Utah, went into central Utah, and this piece is going to continue to track east and exit the state tonight. However, there's another piece of energy that's coming around the corner. It's going to swing through California and Nevada tonight and enter into central and southern Utah tomorrow, and that's going to keep the rain and snow going across parts of the south. It's 30 in Vernal right now, 32 in Ogden. In fact, partly cloudy skies. You can see a few little spots where you can see the stars out there. 32 in Logan. It's 30 in Cedar City. Still 40s in St. George. About a 0.05 of an inch to a 1/10 of an inch around the St. George area, but snow up at the mountains near Cedar City, as we showed you earlier in the show, up at Bryan Head, where the snow is coming down. Here's the front tonight, and it exits through central and eastern Utah, and then this guy comes racing in. So you get about 6 to 8 hours of a lull tonight, between about midnight and 5, 6 a.m. And then in comes the next round. It continues to spread moisture throughout the day on Friday, gone by Saturday, and we get a little bit of this northwesterly flow here in northern Utah. So we're going to keep it cloudy. We'll keep the pattern progressive. That's good news. It doesn't allow the inversion to set up, but we may still see a few little scattered showers continuing through Saturday, especially up in our mountains. Tonight, the storm potential, Fillmore to Cedar City, 3 to 6 inches. That's in the valleys. Central Mountains, 8 to 14. Southern Mountains, 5 to 10. And the southwestern valley, St. George, I think tonight plus tomorrow's storm will end up with 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rain, and we absolutely need every drop. 28 in Montpelier tomorrow, 29 Bear Lake, with 30s in Delta, Parowan, 50s in Springdale, and 58 degrees in Mesquite. Here's your eastern forecast. We're talking clouds tonight, southeastern part of the state. We're going to continue to see the snowfall, 35 in Monticello. Tomorrow, that next little wave comes through, so it will be a stormy Friday across southern Utah. 37 Circleville, 50 in Kanab. St. George, 36 tonight, 56 tomorrow. It'll be another stormy day tomorrow, and then it's gone. Temperatures gradually tick back up. We're going 50s and then back to 60 by the middle of next week with lows in the 20s. Your northern forecast tonight, for the most part, storm's over. Storm is moving into central and southern Utah. We're going partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. 39 for the high in Salt Lake and in Orem tomorrow. 36 in Spanish Fork. 7-day forecast, temperatures drop. We're going to keep it cloudy. Highs in the mid-30s, lows in the teens. But you'll notice there's not smog on that forecast.
You forgot something.
No, we did not forget it.
There's
It's a good thing with that pattern being very progressive. It's not going to build.
Great.
You can forget that every single night as far as I'm
I think
concerned.
we'll work on that for sure.
All right, Rod, reliving the glory days tonight, huh?
Yeah, one more tribute for Jerry Sloan as his night in the light is tomorrow. And we'll head down to Provo. Oh, Tyler, you did it again. Marriott Center magic tonight. You'll see how much when we come back.
All right, the Cougs have been waiting for one like this, haven't they?
Well, they've been waiting to get home, because it is home sweet home. The road has been kind of rocky the last few days. All right, Cougars back home in the Marriott Center after a very rough 2-game road trip, losing at Portland and then at Gonzaga. Pacific in Provo tonight. Tigers coming in 2-6 in the West Coast. Cougars come in 5-4, and Tyler Haws with another one of those nights. Knocks down the 3 to get things started. He was 4 or 5 from there, and that was just the beginning. Then he goes inside, fakes the pass and up and in. He does that a few. Then it was Haas versus the Tigers basically in the first 10 minutes. The step backer, Haas, 21 of BYU's first 25 points. How unbelievable is that? Skylar Halford says, hey, it's my turn, Tyler. He had 3 long ones tonight. Kyle Collinsworth also had 10, but came up empty right there. Nate Austin, though, will fill it right back up. But Tyler Haas was the man again. 38 points. 12 of 20 shooting, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Mika dropped in 20. Cougars snapped their 2-game slide, win it by 10.
Got to give a lot of credit to my teammates and the way they shared the ball and found me in transition. We just run good stuff. So
we know that he's a really good, consistent offensive player. Right now, we're relying on him. Maybe relying on him a little bit too much, and hopefully that we can spread this out a little bit.
All right, meanwhile, Weber State at Northern Arizona. Jeremy Senglin right there. He was 2 for 2 from the three-point line. 15 points he had, but Davion Berry was really feeling it tonight. 4 of 7 from three-point land. Finished with 28 as a team. Wildcats were 6 of 12 from Threeville. Weber State shooting 54% on the road. They come away with a 9-point win. Wildcats 8-1, first place in the Big Sky Conference. Utah Valley still in first place in the WAC, beating Texas Pan America, and Southern Utah losing to Montana. All right, tomorrow night it is the Jazz and the Warriors. Of course, at halftime, the Jazz will honor Jerry Sloan, hoisting his banner to the rafters. Our tribute continues tonight with Oklahoma City head coach Scott Brooks on what Jerry's meant to him.
One of the greatest coaches of all time, a guy that I look up to. I appreciate all the hard work that he's putting into the game, his commitment, his dedication, his consistency is unmatched. It's just there's no nonsense, no excuse mentality. It's something that I try to live by as a coach, and I admire him. He did it the right way, and he will always have a lasting impact, not only on me, but all the other coaches in this league. And some of the young coaches need to go back and look how he did it, because he did it the right way.
That's a tribute when you hear a coach saying that young coaches pay attention to the old guys, okay, and do it the way they did. But should be fun tomorrow night. Yeah. Packed house, national televised game too. So it's a late tip-off. Should be a lot of
especially
fun.
when you hear that outside of Utah and outside of the players here, you hear the whole league. People are saying those same things.
But you know, Jerry, what are you saying? Oh, I wish we would have.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Love you, Jerry.
Thanks, Rod.
We'll be right back.
As we finish tonight, our thoughts are with the families of Sergeant Corey Ride and Sergeant Greg Sherwood tonight, and with all the Utah law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every day.
It's true. The KSL team will be checking for updates on this developing story all throughout the night, and we will bring you any new information online at KSL.com, on KSL Radio, and right here on KSL Today starting at 4:30. And Kevin, real quickly here, the morning commute probably a little bit different than what it was this morning, huh?
Yeah, here along the Wasatch Front, no problems at all. A little bit icy out on the roadways, be careful. But in southern Utah, storm continues tonight and it'll be slick.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for watching us. Jay Leno's next.